YouTube, what is up? Coach Wiz, we back with another reaction video. Today we got NBA legends on their first time against Larry Legend. Yeah, we got another Larry Bird video. So what? So what, man? Yeah, I do a lot of Larry Bird and Michael Jordan videos. So what? Do what I want. Shout out to all my supporters, man. Yo, I got the memberships back up and running. Get your membership. You'll be able to do video requests. You'll also get access to lives because the live streams I delete. But for now, I'm just going to make them for the members only. You feel me? And you'll get access to a lot of other perks, free workouts, that sort of thing. So get your membership. It's $5. It's $5. Relax. All right, let's get to it, though.
He was the most motivated player I ever saw.
3 seconds, two. Bird, a runner. It's good.
Is one of the biggest trash talkers ever.
Bird, little fake down the lane. Oh, Larry Bird! What a play by Bird!
Every NBA great has their Larry Bird story, and somehow they all sound like tall tales, except they're true.
He would do a head fake.
Double fake.
So he would do this, and the guy would turn, and he would just fake the crap out of guys.
Facing Larry Bird for
Literally
the first
facts.
time was like being handed a crash course in humility. Before you could process what was happening, Larry had already told you how he was going to score, done it, and then made you feel bad about it.
He hit it and looked at me. He was like, damn, I didn't mean to leave nothing on the clock.
This was Larry's world, and if you weren't ready, well, he'd make sure you knew it. Let's dive into the wildest stories NBA legends have about their first time facing the man, the myth, Larry Bird.
Yeah. Yo, give me some ideas on what else you guys would like to watch or what y'all want me to react to.
Starting us
Drop
off
those
is
in the
Byron
comments.
Scott. His introduction to Larry Bird was like stepping into a basketball masterclass on psychological warfare. His story is one of those moments that sounds like a myth, but is 100% real.
So we playing him in the last play. He says to James Worthy, he says, "You guys don't have to worry about it. I'm gonna go right over there that corner." He said, "They're gonna set a screen for me. We're taking the ball out." He said, "I'm gonna curl right over," and he's telling us to play. He's telling us to play before they even take it out. He said, "I'm gonna go right over to that corner and I'm gonna catch it, I'm gonna shoot it, and I'm gonna tie the game or win the game, whatever the case may be." They take the ball out, and I think it was either Danny or
DJ,
the late great DJ.
Yeah.
Take the ball out, the man curl right to the corner, caught the shot, shot a three,
and
game over. It's like, are you effing kidding me?
That's insane.
That's my Larry Bird story.
That's the thing about Larry. He didn't just beat you. He made sure you knew he was going to beat
Oh.
you before he did it. Then there's Dominic Wilkins, who learned very quickly that Larry Bird wasn't about to give you a warm welcome to the league.
It was shocking, you know.
It was Dominique Wilkins. Get it right, man. Because really, a lot of this is for my younger viewers, the people I train, coach. I want them to be able to tap in and watch this and learn. Don't disrespect these legends, man. I won't let you.
And I'm a rookie, you know, and I go up against, we small forwards because guys guarded each other back in the area. You know, you couldn't duck each other. And so I go shake his hand, and he put both hands behind his back. And I'm saying, okay, he getting his head ready to play. And first play of the game, he says, "I don't know where they got you guarding me, Holmes." And he shoots a three. I was pissed. I said, I wasn't mad he hit the three, but this some bitch just called me Holmes, And so it's set up for a really interesting game. Because I remember one time I came down and I dunked it on him. He laying on the ground. He fouled me, and I'm pointing.
Oh,
And he said, "Hey, Rook." I said, "What?" He said, "What?" He said, "I like you. You got, he said, you got balls, but I'm still going to get 30 on your ass." He got about 38, but I had to pay my dues. I wasn't upset about that because, back then, as a rookie, you got to pay your dues. Simple as that.
For Wilkins, it was about paying his dues, because back then, going up against Larry Bird was a rite of passage. Even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, The ultimate Lakers competitor and a fierce rival of the Celtics couldn't help but tip his cap to Larry Bird. Kareem remembered a game during Bird's first championship season that left such an impression, the sportscaster closed the broadcast by playing the Superman theme.
Oh, what the left?
I remember the game he played against the Lakers the first year that the Celtics won the World Championship with him on the team. And he was ridiculous. He came in here. I remember our sportscaster played the Superman theme when he was talking about him that night after the game, because he did everything, points, rebounds, assists, just steals, you name it. Larry has such a great mind for the game and, a great touch. I had a lot of respect for him as a competitor.
That's Kareem, one of the greatest to ever do it, giving Larry his flowers. And if Kareem's story shows respect, Sean Kemp's is all about survival, because Larry didn't just compete, he hunted. Kemp was still fresh in the league when he got his first taste of Larry Bird's genius. Spoiler alert, it wasn't pretty.
Who was the first person to bust your ass?
Man, I'm going to keep this real with y'all, man. My ass got busted real early, man. I came into the league, man. I was 19. You know how some of them vets, man, they play you to the team, man. I got played down in Boston one night. We was playing Boston Celtics. So the great Larry Bird, I didn't really know much about it. I'm from Indiana. Larry's from Indiana. I knew about the history of Larry, but I didn't realize how he really got down. When we got to Boston that morning, I knew something wasn't right. I saw an X-Man. He was limping around the court a little bit like he was sore. I figured he'd be all right.
Man.
Xavier McDaniel. I figured he'd be all right by the time. I go to the game on the early bus. I get there. They come out on the court. They say, "Hey, Sean, you starting tonight against Larry." And I was like, well, damn.
Yo, imagine that. Imagine you're a rookie. And they just come up to you and they're like, yo, you starting, you got Larry Bird. Talk about throwing you into the fire. Like, think about that. He wasn't prepared. He didn't get to get his head right. Nothing. Yo, you got Larry tonight. That's tough.
I'm all for it, though, So, the X-Man, he didn't play. He had a sore knee. But my point to you is this: Larry gave me 50 3/4.
What?
Find top date spots near me and text them to Brad.
Yo, did he say 50 3/4? Can y'all verify that? 50 3/4?
Oh, my. There's the white flag right now. Bird on the 20-year-old Kemp. Takes a follower. Oh, he's got 40.
He was hitting everything.
And he talked to me the whole entire game.
What did he say?
Well, first of all, he asked me to jump ball. He said, "You the cat that broke all my records in high school, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." He goes, "Yeah, you know, you used to jump my brother too, right? Like Eddie." And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." He said, "I got you for you tonight." So every shot he was calling at the defensive end, he would tell me, he'd be like, "When I get down to the other end, I'm gonna pump face you, get a hand one on you, look at you, go off the glass." That's how cold Larry Bird was.
Patrick Ewing, on the other hand, grew up hearing about Larry Bird.
Yo, the fact Larry knew I had all these mental notes is sick. Really sick, man. Like, what that got to do with anything? Stall me out. Hey, but Larry was a savage. Larry was the truth.
Bird's supposed limitations. People in Boston would talk about how Larry couldn't jump and how he wasn't the most athletic player on the court. But once Ewing actually faced him, he realized those rumors were a joke.
Manages to come up with it. Bird, little fake. Basket will count the foul. What a shot. Just took Patrick Ewing right out of the play, made him back up to where the...
Ewing shared his epitome on the Dan Patrick Show, laughing as he recalled his reaction to seeing Bird in action for the first time.
You know, I remember, like I was saying, growing up in Boston, people all used to always talking about
that he can't jump, he can't do this, he can't do that. And, you know, a lot of my friends was like that, you know. So, I got to the league. I called all my friends back up. I said, all that trash that you were talking, you need to squash all that. This man is great.
Yo, you ain't got to be the biggest, fastest, strong. You don't got to be. If you got the smarts and you got the fundamentals and you actually study the game, and if you need help with that, come work with Wiz, man. Shameless plug. But no, seriously, that's what made Larry special. He was like 5 steps ahead of everybody. On top of being probably the best overall basketball player ever. I mean, what couldn't he do? You could say he wasn't the best defender, but he competed at a high level. So, and rebounding is a part of defense too. And he was double-digit rebounds for his career. He wasn't like these small forwards today that don't rebound. 6 and 7 rebounds. Like, what is that?
He can, whatever you were saying for a man who can't jump, he's demolishing everybody.
So your guys are saying, how can you let this guy?
Oh, he's doing it on everybody. He's doing it on everybody. He's doing it on the best defensive players in the league.
Yeah.
Bird was rewriting the rules. Ewing's call home was a warning to the rest of the league. Larry Bird was the real deal. For John Sally, his firsthand encounter with Larry Bird is the kind of story that makes you laugh and cringe at the same time. Imagine being a 6'11" forward, thinking you've got this, only for Larry to stroll up and remind you just how wrong you are.
He would be like, man, too bad we didn't get you, Sal. I said, yeah, he goes, double me tonight when I get the ball in the wing? I said, nah, man, straight up. He goes, y'all ain't double teaming me?
Like, what's wrong with y'all?
Nah, I got you, dog. You don't like height. He goes, mouse in the house.
And you 6'11".
And they lifted. He walked me down to the post, got the ball. He said, you better ask for a double team, Sal.
Talking to you the whole time.
And he would move at his speed. I don't care how fast you think you are.
Right.
Larry Legend didn't care how tall or how fast you thought you were. He played at his pace with his moves and always ended up with the upper hand. Brian Shaw had heard all the talk about Larry Bird before joining the Celtics. He's just a white guy who can't jump, not athletic, not that good. And just like many before him, Shaw assumed Larry's dominance was exaggerated until, of course, he saw it, especially when it came to who was guarding him.
Yeah, why y'all jump Larry like that? That was kind of crazy.
When life's a circus, Teladoc Health can help you juggle it all.
I will say, I'm
Your
not
doctor's
biased.
visits can now happen in
I
the
do
middle of
believe
the
Larry
chaos,
started all that.
not a far.
Isaiah Thomas learned this the hard way and shared the hilarious story on the All the Smoke podcast.
Now, our back line at one time it was Kelly Tripucka, Bill Lambier, Kim Benson. 3 white dudes.
2 of them I ain't ever heard of.
Okay. All right. So we walk out on the.
Steven Jackson always hating. Kelly Tripucka was actually pretty nice. It's actually pretty nice. I think he averaged like 20 points per game one year. I might be tripping, but he was nice.
The court, and he said, "Who guarded me?" And I said, "Well, hey, we both from Indiana. We talking stuff. Me and his mom had a close relationship in college. His mom would write me like notes. Was even writing me notes like when I was in the pros, like good luck, everything else, right? So Larry used to always call me Cheesy, right? He's like, Cheesy, who guarded me? And I was like, I got Kelly, I got Lamb, I got Benson. He's like, you ain't got no brothers? He's like you. He's like you.
Disrespecting me.
That's what he said.
Straight up.
That's exactly what he said. He said, hey, man, you can't put no white dude on me.
That's
straight
crazy.
disrespect, right? He said, don't put no white dude on me.
Reggie Miller also found himself on the wrong side of Larry Bird's sharp tongue during a tense late-game moment. In his book, I Love Being the Enemy, Reggie tells the story of how, as a rookie, he thought he could rattle Larry at the free throw line. Big mistake. Reggie, trying to disrupt Larry's focus, starts talking trash. But Bird doesn't just ignore him. He locked eyes with Reggie and delivered a cold, calculated response. Rook, I am the best shooter in the league. In the league, understand? And you're up here trying to tell me something? And with that, Larry sank the first free throw like it was a layup in practice. Still staring Reggie down, he stepped back up, drained the second shot, and walked away without a word. But for Nolan Richardson, his introduction to Larry didn't come from a highlight reel or a big NBA moment.
Going back.
That's cold.
I never forget driving, and I'm listening to a game. It's New Mexico State playing Indiana State. I don't really care about the game, but New Mexico State is right up the streets from El Paso, and I went to UTEP. And we're big rivalries. So I'm hoping that Indiana State will beat New Mexico State. And I'm listening to the radio, and I have no clue of the players on either team. All of a sudden, this name keeps coming. Bird. He goes to the right. Bird. He makes the shot. Bird. I said, God damn, who is Bird? Bird. You know, here's Bird. And Bird this. And Bird. Oh, did you see the pass that Bird made? I can't see it, but I'm just trying to imagine it. And when the time I got to the end, I said, damn, that brother can play. Hey, let me tell you something. When I got the newspaper the next morning and saw Larry's picture, I said, damn.
Even in his early days, Larry carried an aura of inevitability, as if success was his destiny and everyone else was just there to watch it unfold. Richardson's words capture something deeper about Bird. He was a force that shaped the sport in ways people couldn't always articulate. You didn't just see or hear Larry Bird play, you felt it. And if anyone knows a thing or two about trash talk, it's Gary Payton. But even the glove himself had to bow down to Larry Bird's legendary gift of gab. Payton doesn't hand out compliments easily, but when it comes to trash talkers, Bird was at the top.
Chuck Person talked a lot of gangster shit. Bird used to tell me, look here, man, I'm gonna go shoot this motherfucking jumper in your face right there in that corner. And it's gonna be your Christmas present. I'm gonna wrap it up and bust your head open. All that shit. He was the coldest dude I ever seen with that shit, man. Everybody be talking about these greats. They don't be always mentioning him. He was the shit.
Person.
Why do y'all think that is? Why do y'all think, and I think Bird gets talked about, but why isn't he like up there with like Jordan, Kareem, Bron? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are they mentioning all these players before Bird? It's almost like the Kobe thing. I feel like they do that with Kobe too. I don't know. I guess the media kind of pushes whoever they want, really.
And had something to say afterwards.
He'll give it to you any way he wanted to. Any way he wanted to. Larry Bird was cold.
That's coming from Gary, the glove.
Cold dude, man. Real cold.
Person didn't dare look at him.
Chuck works for me in the summer. He mows my yard.
Yo,
I see him every day.
And of course, Bird did exactly that. The man wasn't just running his mouth, he was writing the script and making sure you stuck to it. Terrell Brandon also had his fair share of run-ins with Larry Legend, and he didn't hold back in describing the experience. For Brandon, it wasn't just about Bird's physical dominance. His mental warfare was equally devastating.
How can a person jump this high and out-rebound you? How can a person just move you that way and make you a deficiency? Right. How can a person jump and just, I mean, when we practice, he would be running around Boston Garden while we was practicing.
That was psychological.
And we was watching him running around in the Boston Garden. And it was like, why are you running?
Brandon recalls one game against the Cleveland Cavaliers that
Facts.
still gives him chills. Bird was on fire, hitting shots so precisely, it was almost unfair.
It was 91, 92 season, and we was playing the Boston Celtics. It was Bird, McHale, Parrish, the great three, Ainge, and we was up 1. Okay. He said, "Who's guarding me?" As we come out of timeout. Now remember, I'm a rookie because Price is out because he hurt.
Right.
He says, "Who's guarding me?" I says, "Craig Elo." He says, "Why you got that white boy on me?" Don't put no white boy on me.
He said that was the most.
Now remember, Larry Bird is white.
Right.
He said, "I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna get in the corner. Dennis Johnson gonna pass it to me and I'm gonna hit the last second shot and it's over."
Come on, man.
So I'm like, I told Joe Wood, I said, "Hey man, listen, the ball is going to Larry Bird. Everybody knows the ball's going to Larry Bird.
Right.
Just do whatever you can. Craig, Gerald, just cover him."
Right.
All Bird did was go like this. See, it's leverage. It's not how strong you are sometimes. It's leverage.
Yeah.
He said, "Now look how hard that is."
Yeah.
Now somebody strong can go, "Yeah." Right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I love that. Sometimes it's not about how strong you is, it's the leverage. Love it.
Gerald, just cover him.
Right.
All Bird did was go like this. See, it's leverage. It's not how strong you are sometimes. It's leverage.
Yeah.
He said, "Now look how hard that is."
Yeah.
Now somebody strong can go, "Yeah." Right?
Right. Right.
You see how your demeanor went? That's all I need, TB.
Right.
Another
Enough space against the ball. Yeah.
And you know his fingers was all broke.
Right.
He hit the
Yo,
shot.
he knows his form
All
to a
his
T.
Ken McHale, all them, Randy Whitman, all them were jumping on, right? He was getting them off of him like this. He walked off and said, "Legend."
That's
And then
fire.
there's the time college star Rodney Rogers thought it'd be a good idea to trash talk Bird.
That's
Big mistake. As Jamal Mashburn recalls, Bird didn't just respond, he turned it into an event.
When we got an invitation, it was 8 of us. It was myself, Bobby Hurley, Allen Houston, Chris Webber, Rodney Rogers, Eric Montrose.
Shout out Rodney Rogers, man. Shout out to OG.
Yeah. And Grant Hill was on that squad. So we get to La Jolla, San Diego, and we check into the Marriott.
Amazing.
We go up to our floor, and we're walking in the corridor, and we see this tall white guy coming down the hall. And I'm like, damn, that looked like Larry Bird. So Larry Bird coming down the hallway, me and Chris Webber, and Larry Bird, you don't realize how big Larry Bird is until you stand up close to Larry Bird.
Exactly. As a
Larry Bird, legit 6'10".
Nah, real talk. When I first stood up against him when he was coaching the pace, I was like, damn.
So he walked by us and he says, "Y'all those college guys?" And we was like, yeah, we the college guys. And he looked at us and he said, "Get some fucking rest. It's gonna be a long week," and walked off. And we was like, what the hell?
What y'all got us into?
Yeah, I'm like, okay. You know, we like, all right, what's going on here?
I wanted to say what's up, and he just came to me like this, like, damn.
Yeah. So the next morning, we get up and we go to practice, and Roy Williams is our coach, but we only got 8. So we like, how are we practicing? And what are we practicing for? So we spent, I want to say, an hour doing the 3-man weave. And I'm like, what's going on here? Then they bus us to another location where the dream team is practicing. And these about 400 people standing outside waiting for the dream team to come out. They take us up to a top floor and the dream team is practicing. They're finishing up their practice.
Try to set y'all up, man. We ain't biased over here. They try to set y'all up. They tried to set y'all up.
And then they say, all right, get loose and stretch out. We're like, okay, we playing? They're like, yeah, we're going to play next. So we get out the gates. Like the first 15 minutes, we kicking their ass. we running them all out. Bobby Hurley in the lane, killing John Stockton. So they stopped the game and turn off the score. I think we were up like 72, 66 or something, 64, something like that. They just stopped the game. So we like, all right, was this halftime or some shit? They like, nah, the press coming in.
Pretty sure Jordan wasn't playing though, so keep that in mind. Just relax.
So I'm like, oh wow. So that's when the thing came out that Chuck Daly let us win.
Still impressive.
They were like, they didn't want to hold a complete game because they knew it was going to be downhill from there. Because we were trying to prove that we could represent the country. Yeah. So we lit their ass up, and then something happened. We're sitting there, and we get back to the hotel. Rodney Rogers says something to, it's a group of them. It's Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and everybody's shooting the shit. And Rodney Rogers said, hey, Larry, you ain't hit a jumper since 84. Magic heard that shit. And we ain't think nothing of it. The next day we came in, and I never seen this. And this one I was like, this is a different breed. Magic Johnson fed Larry Bird the ball probably about 8 times in a row down court. Larry Bird got the ball on Rodney Rogers, and every time he was about to make a move, he told him what he was going to do. One dribble, pull up, going left, off glass. One dribble, going right, spin, shot, bucket. He scored 9 times or 8 times in a row, left the court to go lay down because he couldn't sit on a bench. He had to lay down because of his back. And said, young fella, look like 84, huh?
Last time he made it.
Rogers probably regretted that comment immediately. With all these legendary accounts, one thing becomes crystal clear. Larry Bird wasn't just respected, he was revered. As Brazilian legend Oscar Schmidt put it,
it's too easy.
Yo, shout out to Magic. Because that's his guy. Magic made sure he got his get back.
To have Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant as an idol. The guy flies around and do whatever he wants. It's too easy.
Facts.
My guy doesn't run, doesn't jump, and play the best of everybody else. He's here.
That's a fact, man. No miscredit.
This is my idol, the best player ever, in my opinion.
Bird's legacy is built on moments like these. Iconic, unrepeatable, and absolutely legendary. And if you want to dive deeper into more incredible Larry Bird stories, hit play on this next video. NBA legends and players share the great.
That's it, man. That's it for the video, man. Let me know what y'all want to see next. I think I'm going to do Magic next. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a Magic Johnson stories next, man. Let me know what y'all think. And if you'll be tuned in for the Magic Man. I'm Coach Wiz. Peace.